So we are going to start with Level 2 Basic, and we have a few questions to work on that will remind us of what to do with variables when we're multiplying or adding. So what is x times x? X times x is x squared. So please take notes with me, and if I go too fast, either pause the video or go back and review it. What is x plus x? These are like terms, so x plus x is 2x. So x times x, this is multiplying with the same base. The exponent on each of those would be 1. So x times x would be 1 plus 1, or 2, x squared. These are like terms. The number in front of x would each be 1 and 1. 1 plus 1 is 2. Now what do we do when we're multiplying and we have different variables? We just write the variables next to each other as a product, and the most common way we write the letters is in alphabetical order. So what is x times y would be written x, y, and that's because x comes before y in the alphabet. What is x plus y? Neither of these are like terms, so you cannot combine them, so x plus y would just be x plus y. And those are the 4 topics that we're going to work on in our first day of notes. It's going to be a review of combining like terms, but it's also going to be what do we do when we are multiplying and we have exponents, and then we are combining like terms with terms that have exponents. So let's talk about what I mean by terms. A term can either be a number or a variable. So an example is maybe x, or the number 2, or AB. So those are all examples of terms. Those are all single terms, and that's what a monomial. A monomial is a one-term expression. So again, these are examples of terms. So 5 or y squared or PQ. Those are monomials, one term. Binomials have 2 terms. A trinomial has 3 terms. And a polynomial has many terms, so more than 3. Example of a binomial is 2x plus 1, and an example of a trinomial is 2x squared plus 3x plus 1. A polynomial, more than 3. 4x squared plus 6x plus y plus 7. When we multiply terms with different variables, we do what we did at the beginning of the year when we learned to distribute. So if there is a term or a number term in front of parentheses, we will distribute into the parentheses. And if our terms have exponents, we will follow the exponent rules. So in this first example, it will be x squared multiplied by negative 7x. So in our last objective, we learned that when we multiply an x squared times an x, we will add the exponents. This is a 2, this is a 1, so there's a 1 on that x. And so x squared times negative 7x becomes negative 7x cubed. Minus, because this is a minus, so we're going to carry that subtraction along, x squared times 5y. There's a 1 in front of the x squared here. So when we're multiplying, 1 times the 5 would just be the 5. The x squared times the y, what are we going to write? Well, they're not the same variable, so we will just write the product as x squared y, and we will write the letters in alphabetical order. Now I'm going to do letter C with you. So 3p squared multiplied by all those terms inside. This would be called a polynomial because there are 4 terms in there. Again, we're going to distribute. And we will begin by multiplying 3p squared times 2p cubed. What do we do with the numbers? 3 multiplies 2, and we get 6. P squared multiplies p cubed, and we will add the exponents and get p to the 5th. Then we will take 3p squared and multiply by negative p squared, and there's like a 1 in front of that, so you need to remember that. So 3 times the negative 1 is going to be negative 3. P squared times p squared, we're going to add our exponents, and that's going to be p to the 4th. Then we're going to multiply 3p squared times the 3rd term. And again, that's going to be 3 multiplying negative 7, which is going to be a negative 21. P squared times p, 2 p's here, 1 more p here, adding the exponents, that's p cubed. And then our final multiplication will be 3p squared times a negative 3, which is a negative 9p squared. Now you may pause the video and go back and look at these 2 examples to see how I did it if I went too fast. So take a moment and pause and look back over those, and then try the next 2 on your own. When you have tried B and D on your own, you may restart the video and check your answers. The answer to B is 2a squared b minus 3a squared b squared. Neither of these are like terms. Let's talk about why not. Even though this has an a squared and this has an a squared, this has a b and this has a b squared. So they're close to being like terms, but they're not, so you can't combine them. So you just leave your answer like that. For D, we have double distributing. So distribute, 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 distribute. And let's see what that's going to look like. That's going to look like 20b cubed minus 12bc. Now this one's tricky because remember you have to distribute that negative. Minus 35c minus 10. Now what am I going to do? I have a c and a v. Well, I'm going to go in alphabetical order, and I'm going to go c, v. Now if you take a look back over here, I didn't write those in alphabetical order. So I'm going to rewrite that 20v cubed minus 12cv. So I'm going to put my variables in order alphabetically. Minus 35c minus 10cv. When they're in alphabetical order, it's easier to detect that they are like terms. And they are. So these are the only 2 terms that we can combine. So that's going to be 20v cubed minus 22cv minus 35c. And that is the final answer for that one. So what do we need to remember from this distributing? When multiplying variables, we write the letters in a term in alphabetical order. When multiplying the terms with the same base, remember to use the rule of exponents After you have multiplied, remember to combine like terms and write your terms from highest exponent to lowest exponent in your final answer. For example, let's look back at 5c, and you will notice that the exponents decrease. We go from the highest exponent down to the lowest exponent. And that's a nice way to write it because then all of the answers are the same and it's easier for the teacher to check. Okay, last two on this page, number 6 and number 7. Again, I would like for you to pause the video, do number 6 and 7, and then restart the video and check your answers. The answer to number 6 is 6x to the 6th minus 10x squared. The answer to number 7 is negative 6ab to the 6th plus negative 27a squared b cubed.